As college continues to get more and more expensive each year, it can be harder and harder for potential students to determine whether attending is really worth it. On average, universities in the US raise tuition costs by about 3.2% each year, higher than the roughly 2.5% rate of inflation. On the other hand, average wages for US jobs increased between 2.9 and 3.1% this last year, a rate we can estimate is roughly the national annual average. This means that college tuition prices are going up a little faster than wage growth. All of this said, is going to college actually still worth it? In other words, what is the return on investment of attending college in the US? Calculating the return on investment of a college degree is actually pretty simple on the surface of things. You simply determine what the salary you will get from having a college degree versus the salary you would receive with simply a GED or being a high school graduate, and divide by the cost of tuition. That said, you'll want to do this over 10-year, 20-year, and possibly lifetime increments to determine when your college ROI will turn positive. Rather than just talk about the math, let's do an example and then look into schools and degrees more specifically. Let's say your 4-year tuition cost at a university is $125,000, or $31,250 per year in tuition and fees. That's the average annual price of tuition in the US this year. Then, let's assume that your salary difference will be $17,500 per year. This number is taken from a Pew Research study determining the yearly median income gap between high school grads and college grads. 10 years after graduating, you'll have made $175,000 more than if you didn't go to college at all, meaning your 10-year ROI is $175,000 divided by $125,000, or 1.4, or 140%. Your 20-year ROI would be $350,000 divided by $125,000, 2.8, or 280%. If we say you would work for 45 years after getting your degree, then we can calculate your lifetime college degree ROI based on these average numbers as being 6.3, or 630%. Numerically speaking, based on these average values, you'd have earned $787,000 more during your career just by having a college degree. From those examples, you should get a pretty good idea of simple ROI calculations for college and how they work. I should note, we didn't factor in inflation, the 4 years or 5 that you would have been working if you didn't attend college, or the fact that salary differences will vary based on degree path and skill set. From the onset, college looks to be a positive ROI after about the first 5 to 10 years. When you look longer term, college makes sense monetarily, at least based on the average numbers. One thing we can look at is, are top schools worth it? Let's take these calculations and look at more specific schools. Again, working with the average numbers since that's the best way to present college as a whole together. If you look at this data and chart, you can see that attending the top colleges in the nation produce some pretty strong 20-year returns. MIT and Caltech specifically seem to produce the highest ROIs for graduates. After 20 years, MIT grads earn about $959,000 more than high school grads, and Caltech students earn a little less at $864,000 more. This makes sense though. Both of these schools are highly STEM focused, which as a sector has higher salary ranges than others. Even still, we can see that Princeton has grads earn about $764,000 more after 20 years, and Yale grads about $626,000. All of this presents some strong arguments for college being worth it, especially the nation's top universities. But it's important to note that we're working with averages here, and that can skew the values relevant to you. So how do we tailor college ROI to you specifically? When calculating ROIs for college, you'll want to zero in on your specific degree path, your specific college, the salaries where you plan to work, and the alternative career choices you would have if you didn't go to college. Going to an ultra-expensive university for a degree that won't net you very much money can mean that it would take several decades for your college education to be worth it. Conversely, going to a cheaper school might net you the same education and same job opportunities with a far lower upfront cost. This concept can be seen in the data too. Determining which college is right for you isn't just about finding the right culture fit. You might also want to determine how you can maximize your return on investment too, since college is ultimately a giant business investment decision for the rest of your life. When you examine the data, it becomes a little clearer how going to a cheaper school can net you the same potential return in income down the line with a lower upfront cost, meaning you break even sooner. If you look at this chart comparing private to in-state colleges, you can see that nearly all students break even by going to an in-state cheaper school, but a much more significant percentage of private school grads don't break even after 20 years. The other interesting thing about this data, too, is that in-state and private colleges offer about the same earnings potential, or ROI, over your life. So now that we've gone through some specific examples working from data, demonstrated how you can calculate ROI for your own situation, we have to answer the question of whether college is actually worth it. In general, it seems like college is worth it in the US if we look at average numbers, though you might want to strongly weigh going to a cheaper school, financial aid included, if maximizing your ROI is something you care about. College isn't for everyone, though. There are fantastic trades that you can start working at right out of high school that you can make more money in than if you got a degree in history and became a teacher or historian, for example. Determining whether college is worth it is a unique equation for each and every person, one that also changes every year as tuition fees rise as well. If you do determine that you want to go to college and want some help getting in, our friends over at the Checklist program can help. You probably know how stressful and confusing applying for college and financial aid can be. I've partnered up with the Checklist program, run by a Forbes 30 Under 30 nonprofit, by the way, that can help you out in the application and financial aid process. They provide actionable to-dos and advice so that you don't miss a deadline as you're applying to college, and so that you have the best shot to get into the college of your dreams and actually afford it. If you want to learn how they can help, they have programs at low cost or no cost, depending on your financial aid status, that you can check out at our link in the description below. And if you sign up, you'll be supporting our channel to help us make more videos as well. Thanks for watching.